And I think we would be remiss to start anywhere other than the Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Now, this plays into directly what you said last week, Lewis. You said, boxing's terrible.
I didn't say that.
It's boring. It's boring. I don't enjoy boxing. It's crap. Well, let me tell you this. That fight last week on many, many levels was one of the best fights you'll see. As far as boxing goes, it was an incredible matchup. It'll be a legendary fight that won't be forgotten anytime soon. The build-up to it was incredible. The scene on the night, I mean, we were at the Fox Studios. I was covering the UFC Adelaide card. We'll get into that later. And that was the last UFC card that I'll do inside the studios. We've got two more, one in Milwaukee in a couple of weeks.
Wayne's World,
boom. It's Algonquin for something.
Yeah.
Milwaukee. And then there's one more at the end of the year. So we've got two more events on the road in the arenas. But that was the last one at the Fox Studios. After the Fox deal, the UFC deal is done with Fox, they're going into PBC, Pacific or PCB or whatever. But yeah, PCB, Pacific Coast Boxing, I think. And Deontay Wilder's one of their guys. So we were in the room watching the fights, eating dinner, but on one TV they had UFC Adelaide. On the other TV, they had the boxing fight. You know, now of course I'm a UFC guy, but I like combat sports, and that was a big fight. And I was like, it was hard to watch them both because the UFC fights, I got to talk about on TV like I know what I'm fucking talking about.
Of course.
And on the boxing, it was a pretty immense, legit, heavyweight, exciting fight. So it was hard.
Yeah.
But one thing, and of course the big UFC events do have it. UFC 229 had it recently with Conor and Khabib. You see a lot of celebrities in attendance. But when there's like a big boxing fight like Fury versus Wilder at the weekend, I mean, it's a spectacle. It's a scene. There's celebrities galore. There was booths outside the place.
I always feel that about
something.
that, though. It is incredible, and it is great when you see, like, oh, my God, Brad Pitt's in the front row, and fucking Donald Trump's in this place. Because Trump used to go out to the fights all the time, by the way. But it is sort of BS, right? Because they get the tickets for free. Their agents make a phone call. It's fucking awesome and fun. They don't put any real effort into, like, it doesn't, for me to be in the front row at a UFC event, typically, sometimes I get them for free, but typically I'm spending fucking $1,200.
Hold on. Oh, yeah, I was just about to say, how many times have you been front row at the UFC?
No, front row actually, front row never. No, I meant
typically when I'm front row at the UFC, I don't have the great time. I don't like taking pictures and autographs. Typically when I'm there, I keep my head down and do I do my thing. I like to focus on the fights and not interact with the public. But typically, I will take a few pictures. Fucking typically. How many times?
I've never been in the front row ever. I meant good seats.
I know.
And I've got fourth, fifth row a handful of times, right on the, but if I'm doing
on the cusp.
Yeah, right, almost there.
almost in the scene. Almost part of the crowd.
Wow.
On the cusp, be like, ooh, if I was a little bit more.
But if I wanted to get,
I could be there.
If I wanted to get in the front row, it would be a big event for me. It would take a very big chunk of change. It would be, maybe a vacation's worth of money in order to do that.
Don't do it.
Fuck that.
Don't do it.
For shit. First of all, the $350 seats on the first riser are the best seats in the house, by the way, unless you're in the front row.
Well, spoken like somebody that never sat in the front row.
Except the front row.
Because that's what everybody says. They say, front row, those seats suck. You're like this with your neck the whole time, and you can't see because the pillar of the octagon gets in your way. It's like, I don't know, buddy. It's pretty fucking cool.
Front row's great.
You can fucking hear the punches land.
The blood
you can
splattering on your face.
Blood splatter everywhere. You can actually, if you wanted to, reach up and poke your finger through the fence and just give him a little scratch or a point or a prod or whatever. It's a bit weird, but you could. But the first riser, that's where it's at. Why they don't charge the most money for the first riser is fucking beyond me, Lewis.
Shit. That really is what poor people always say. Yeah, dude, who wants the front row?
You want to sit front row and look up? You get a fucking sore neck. I like being in the fucking nosebleeds and looking down. You know why? Because when the fight's over, I'm the first out. I gotta deal with that bullshit, man. The traffic's fucked, okay? I get out of there super fast. Shut the fuck up.
What type of asshole wants to be in the front row everyone's looking at you. You got to fucking, everyone thinks you're a big deal. That you have to live your life to that
You got to be on TV.
Come on, nobody wants that.
No one wants that.
No one wants that.
Exactly.
First riser,
that's
right
where it's at.
Right away from the crowds. I like that.
Well, I sat first riser, my first ever UFC event, and it was the whole cast of The Ultimate Fighter 3. They flew us out there and they put us in the first riser. 16 people, Lewis.
Yeah.
16 people, first cast of the Ultimate Fighter 3. That tells you the value of the first riser.
Doesn't matter.
Because they didn't give a fuck about us at that point. They're like, I'll stick him in the first riser.
Yeah.
If they cared, Lewis. Yeah. If they cared.
They probably think it's good. That's what those simpletons think.
Yeah, those fucking assholes, those broke dickheads, they always say the first riser is good. Stick him on the first riser. But if they cared, we'd be on the floor.
It's just not either way. For a celebrity to go, it is very easy for them to like just show up and like they almost go like they always take the shot of the celebrity in the front row and they put them on the screen. But I would say that about celebrities too. Like Pete Davidson from SNL, who I know, he's a comic in New York City, but he was dating that Ariana Grande chick, and they were going to get married, and people were like, wow, they're going to get married. I'm like, dude, these kids have $1 billion. Getting married for them isn't really anything. Getting divorced isn't anything.
You just dropped something, by the way, Lewis.
What did I drop?
Just that Pete Davidson name. Oh, he's buddy of mine.
Pretty good.
We go way back, That's no big deal.
But when you're that rich, getting married and getting divorced and moving in and moving out, it's not the same thing. Like me and my girlfriend, we committed to move into each other together. If we fight, there's no like just moving out. Like if you're a multi-millionaire, you could just fucking have people move your shit. You're just gonna go to the spa for the day.
Mean, if it was easier, I would have left Rebecca a long time ago. But it's
Christ.
A whole thing.
It's a whole
Do you know what I mean? I don't even want to pack to fucking go on vacation, let alone move out of the house. It's a whole thing.
Now I get the motivation to pack all my shit to leave. I'm already over whatever I was mad about.
Yeah, no, exactly. So anyway, there you go. Loses in the first riser. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. So epic fight, as I said. The incredible thing about that fight, or not the incredible thing about the fight, but an incredible thing that I did notice that would be a big factor in the fight is that Tyson Fury, if I'm not mistaken, I believe is 6'9", and he weighed in at 255 pounds, something like that, which is incredible because he did get up to 400 pounds. And as I was saying last week, it's a testament to his resilience, his work ethic, all the rest of it to get back down to that weight and to be athletic again. Deontay Wilder at 6'7", weighed in at 212 pounds. 212 pounds. As soon as I saw that, I thought, nah, man, this fight is over.
He's going to be big.
Tyson's just too big for him. Tyson Fury is just too big, and he's a very, very good boxer as well. Fury, he can be aggressive, he can be sloppy, and he just looks at that massive right looping hand. But and I thought he might have a chance, but then when I saw he was 212, I thought, no, it's over. Put your money on Fury right now. Yeah. And the fight started. I'll give my analysis or just my opinions on it. I mean, Fury was the better boxer. He really was. He looked good. He used a lot of feints. He used that herky-jerky movement that he used against Vladimir Klitschko, throwing his opponents off. And Deontay, for the most part, was just looking for that big punch, and he was trying to get on the inside and let the haymakers go. Now, a few times, look at that. We're just watching the highlights. That's the 12th round of the fight. So here's what happened. Fury controlled the fight. He did. Deontay landed a few good punches here and there. Of course he did. It's a fight. But for the most part, Fury controlled the fight, landed some good shots.
I heard the rounds that he had won, he was winning them. It was the gap wasn't as great.
They weren't landslide rounds.
But he was winning.
If you had to pick a winner, you'd give it to Fury.
Right.
But they were kind of close.
That's the way it works. That's the way it works. Yeah.
And then in round 10, I think it was, Wilder put him down.
9. It was the first time.
It was 9, okay. Yeah. So that's a 10-8 for Wilder. And then to carry on in the 12th round, Fury almost gets knocked out unconscious. I thought he was out. I looked away for a second. I turned around. I saw him on the floor like that. I was like, holy shit, he's done.
Did you see Deontay's reaction to him getting up? Like the look?
No.
It's pretty cool. Pull it up while you talk about it.
And obviously, Deontay won that final round as well, 10-8. Other than that, Fury did control it. So when it went to the scorecards and it was a draw, my initial reaction was shock. And I think if you score it the way boxing is supposed to be scored, with a 10-9 must system where every fighter gets 10 and one gets 10, 9 or 8, on points, Fury wins that fight. And I find it almost impossible to find a way where it was a draw. If you look at it from another aspect, like the way Pride used to judge fights. If you look at it from that aspect, where Fury kind of controlled some rounds, but it was close, but Deontay nearly knocked him out cold twice and dropped him twice, from that perspective, it is a draw. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
One guy controls most of it, but doesn't do much damage. The other guy drops you twice. I call it a draw. You know,
it's just a fight. Also, like in a parking lot. Like, if you're just looking at it from like an objective standpoint. I'm not a boxing judge where I'm here to judge it. You know, each shot and give specific points to sign per round. Like, yeah, I understand that. But when you sort of add everything up, do you think that it was a robbery? Because a lot of people are calling like a crazy robbery that Tyson Fury should have won this fight, or at the very least should have been a draw.
Well, as I just said, and as you just said, if you look at it like outside in a parking lot, then maybe, but it is a sport. There's defined rules, and it's supposed to be a 10-9 must system. And I think on that basis, yeah, I don't know if it was a robbery, but Tyson won. The judges got it wrong there, absolutely, in my opinion. I respect Fury. Sorry, I respect Wilder for being able to, look for that knockout and get it so close to the end of the fight. But what really impressed me is that Fury got knocked down. And in my opinion, as I say, he was ahead on the scorecards, ahead on the rounds, should have been. And in the 12th round, when he got up, now, listen, Deontay won that 12th round for sure, right? Because he got knocked down almost out cold. That was 10-8. Fury, when he got up, all he had to do was dance around. There was about 1:30 left in the round, halfway through the round. The smart thing to do would have been, hold on, I'm ahead on the scorecards. Let's just dance around a little bit, finish this round out, and I win the fight. But he didn't do that. After being almost knocked down, he pushed the action. He pressed Deontay into the corner, had his hands behind his back, taunting him, sticking his tongue out, all that type of stuff.
Wow.
And I was like, I never used to be a big fan. I said that last show, but he really won my respect. The fact he got up like that, A, the fact he got up, and B, he got up and pressed the fucking action and was taunting him. I'm like, you can't deny this man's fighting spirit, and he had my fucking respect.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, his post-fight speech was super gracious, and again, he won me over further there. And then, I don't know if you saw this, Lewis, he's donating his entire purse to charity.
I know, I saw that.
Which is
Millions
just
of dollars.
fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Now, as I said, I'd like to go dig wells with Khabib, and I wish I fucking gave my money to charity as well, but I can't afford to give my money to charity. Maybe if I was a boxer I would have done, but even still,
you're not on the first riser, but you're still not donating millions to charity.
I'm not donating millions,
but this is the reaction actually.
Okay, let's take a look.
Because he knocks him down and he thinks it's over, because he knocks him down and he starts doing this little shuck and jive and starts dancing.
Sure, and rightly so.
Thinks it's over. And then he blows a kiss to the camera, and then he sees him get up. Look, he just looks over right here, and he notices that he's dealing with the fucking Undertaker. Look, he's like, oh shit, here we go. Oh boy.
Yeah. He's like, you son of a bitch. I mean, to be honest, no wonder he was doing a little shuck and jive, as you call it, because it was sweet. It was an epic fight. It was a great fight. It was entertaining.
There's nothing more powerful than a fucking heavyweight boxer's punch. There's something like, I remember, first of all, they did a sports science on that. I remember a few years ago when Randy Couture was on that show, Sports Science, on Spike TV.
Yep.
And they were just talking about how hard heavyweight boxers punch. It's like the hardest strike, like per, whatever, per square inch, whatever it is.
Sure. Pounds per square inch.
Yeah, and then they also did it with like ground and pound, and they were showing why the impact of ground and pound is greater, because your head bounces off the canvas and fucking you're coming down using gravity at the same time. Kind of cool. Look, pretty cool show actually.
I saw it.
Oh, did you watch it?
I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, when you watch like a nasty fucking heavyweight shot like that punch, it's vicious. I mean, the fact that he gets up after that, you win. Those are the moments, actually, to be honest with you, in fights where you win fans. Winning a fight is one thing, but it's when you get up after getting laid out like that. Somebody like you, who he actually specifically talks shit on a personal level about, you're going, holy fuck, that's awesome.
No, for sure. And as a fighter, you want to be involved in stuff like that. I mean, of course, it's very reminiscent of a Rocky movie or something like that. And you want that. You want to fight through adversity like that in your career as a fighter. A good one for me was the Anderson Silva fight. I got that knee in the third round. Everyone thought I was out, and I got back to my feet. I had blood coming out of every orifice known to man. And I went on to win the fight. And for me, afterwards, I even said to Perillo at the time, I'm like, I'm glad that happened. It made the whole thing even more epic, you know. And
dude, it's one of the people fucking fell in love with you after that fight. It was one of the reasons. It's funny because I didn't even relate it to that. And you did because, you know, you're a fucking narcissist. But
of course,
you know. But the reality is, as I'm making the point about Tyson, it's very true with you. That was a moment in your career where I watched people, you know, literally go, "Holy shit!"
For a minute, they were like, "He's okay." For a minute,
well,
I was the flavor of the month for a second.
Well, then, you know, you fought an old man in Dan Henderson.
Yeah,
He was a geriatric. You know?
Well, he'd still fucking knock you out, Lewis. Mr. Dunn, fucking, you know, Jesus Christ, steady on, cowboy. I think he just knocked out Hector Lombard prior to that out called, and it was a rematch, and it was the UFC's idea. So go fuck yourself. All right, guys, just want to take a quick second to hear from one of our sponsors, good old BetDSI. BetDSI.com has been in business for over 20 years. Top rated on business review sites. Bet games is the go. You get the live in-game wagering options throughout the tournament. Makes plays throughout entire games and events. Great customer service, of course. 24/7, 365. BetDSI has built a reputation on fast payment of winnings, Lewis.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's such a fun site to bet on because most of the time everything's very confusing. They make it super easy. This weekend we do have Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega. I'm going to tell you right now, that fight in itself is just a pick'em. I don't even know how to bet on that.
What are the odds?
I don't have them in front of me, but I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't even put the money on that one. I put the money on Valentina Shevchenko over Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
You know what? Okay, you're right, because the main event is kind of a pick'em, and it could go either way, although, you know, I love them both, to be honest. I was going to say I love Max, but I love them both. I'll tell you this right now. If you want to make some money, go to betdsi.com. And what is the promo? I think it's...
if you use the promo code BYM120, we give you a 60% bonus match on anything up to $1,000. Okay?
60% bonus match, okay? So you put $100 on, it becomes $160. And I'm telling you right now, I've been wrong in the past, but my opinion is that Shevchenko has a really, really, really strong chance of beating Joanna Jędrzejczyk. So if you want to put $100, which in effect is $160, use the promo code BYM120 after you've gone to betdsi.com, put it on Valentina Shevchenko, and if I'm wrong and you lose that money, well, then there's not a lot you can do about it.
Well, you give yourself the shame bell next week.
I'll give myself the shame bell, and you can email in, and I'll profusely apologize, and I'll really mean it as well.
He apologized for a lot of things. He's a really nice guy.
But in all seriousness, go to betdsi.com, use the promo code BYM120. We give you a 60% bonus match on your money. Of course, when watching fights, watching sports, get a little money on it, it's better. So, betdsi.com, promo code BYM120.